In progress.
Good morning. We'll call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission to order. Today is Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. It is 9:05 a.m. And you got some?
January 18th is not ready.
Okay. Please strike January 18th from whoever makes that motion. Those minutes are not prepared. So, now if one of you gentlemen would like to start.
After review and reading of the commission minutes for December 21st, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and can you also add to that the waiving of the reading?
Waiving of the reading.
Yes. Thank you. That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor, move to approve accordingly.
Motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the estate and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise noted.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon submission of budget revisions received by the elected officials and department heads, the county commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
Okay, that motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the invoices as submitted by the various department heads and offices, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. Concerning the terms of office expiring for today's meeting, first up is the Nicholas County Airport Authority. We do have an email resignation of Mr. Aaron Kelly for the term of office expiring July 1st, 2026. If Commissioner would like to move on approving that.
I'll make a motion to accept his resignation.
Motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those against, the motion does carry. Now we need to fill the unexpired term. This term of office expires July 1st, 2026. I was told that Mr. Jerry Rader was interested, but, that's just the only recommendation I've got. So far.
That's what, I think that's the only one we had.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to fill the vacancy with Jerry Rader.
You probably have his contact information, don't you?
If it hasn't changed over the years.
Oh, yeah.
It still,
That motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. Concerning the Nicholas County Fire Board, Mr. James Marsh, with a term of office expiring February 6, 2023. For the record, concerning this term of office, the fire board bylaws do require a maximum of 2 consecutive terms. And so Mr. Marsh is considered termed out, and so we will need to replace him with someone else.
have anybody?
I would have the recommendation of Jennifer Kaufman. She's been around it quite a bit, but I mean, I'm open to whoever.
Do you have anybody?
Make a motion that we appoint Jennifer Kaufman to the fire board.
Okay, that motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. Now, concerning Chief Aldridge, the Centerville Fire Department, he just was appointed in the absence of his transfer of power from their former chief office. So he is eligible for another full term. So it'd be my recommendation, and I believe the Fire Association's already recommendation.
Yes.
To reappoint Chief Aldridge.
I'll make that motion to reappoint Chief Aldridge to the fire board.
Okay, that motion's on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Just to clarify on the new appointment to fire board, that will be for a full term beginning February 6, 2023.
That's correct. So it'll be term of office expiring for Ms. Kaufman, 2026. We're Jim Marshall. Yes. Thank you, that's right. We have our public comment period, and I noticed, Mr. Samples, you want to talk about the landline fee ordinance? Is there anything else you want to talk about, or just that?
Well, I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm gonna throw in.
All right, well, we'll keep it under public comment period then, and the floor is yours, sir, and you got 3 minutes.
Well, I'm here to object against it.
Okay.
Number one, the majority of the people of this county, we're on fixed income. And $1.50 here, and $2 there, and $3 here, and 10 there, hey, we're pretty well exhausted. And you people, I try to keep up with what happens here. Have you all ever done anything since you've been commissioners to really benefit us old seniors in this county?
Is that a question?
That's a question.
Okay, and for Commissioner Roberts' benefit especially, commissioners do not have to respond, but you can elect to. We've done quite a bit. I mean, we've supported every senior center in this county, the community centers in this county. We have never done anything to change the homestead rules or anything like that. And in fact, even some of those things can apply to in the fire ordinance and different things like that.
But have you ever butted heads with any of our utility companies over these increases that they get every time the moon changes?
I know we would personally probably object to every single one of them, but I don't know really that we have any authority.
Public Service Commission.
Yeah, that's
reviews
public
those.
service.
Right.
Well.
But I personally would be glad to do even more. I mean, I have to research
But
what we can
really,
do.
I mean, everything that we have got to survive on, we're not living off a big inheritance or nothing like that. I think you could come up with money, you're getting ready to sell some property. That money could be used for this project. Some of the money that's been dumped into this airport authority, I think you could kind of lighten up on that a little bit. What good is Nicholas County Airport to you and me at the present time? I drove down there last summer. The gate was locked and the grass was needing mowed real bad. And I think you guys could come up with something other than to increase our landline fees, which is high enough, to cover this expense that you're needing for this 911 situation. I mean, it's everything that we've got to have to survive on has went up. Postage stamps, post office box rent, water rated canvas, well, you know about that. Every time the moon changes, the freaking thing goes up.
Absolutely.
But still yet, we've got county money to give them to buy equipment with that probably they don't have an operator for. You guys, take a look at this thing.
I think one of the things we're looking to do is a long-term impact. So, looking at the short term, I can understand how that might, throw one off a little bit in the mindset. But in the long term, we're trying to poise ourselves with an aging population to address that. I mean, as you know, and as I was back here a few years ago, we're losing that workforce. And I say that because we have an older population, which is going to require more advanced 911 system, rapid, faster response as quick as we can get on scene. I think the things we're going to address is an ISO rating, which will mitigate or even maybe lessen your homeowner's insurance. So I don't think any decisions have been made here, and I've sat in here for 2 years, I'm only on the commission for a month. But I think the decisions that are made are definitely not made hastily. So the due diligence that we put in, I think, is how we're addressing the seniors of the area as well. In other words, it's not the first option that's being taken. It's way down the line. We're trying to exhaust all means before anything's raised. As far as the PSCs and the utilities, that's regulated by the state and federal. I mean, we can push back on them. We absolutely can.
That's right.
But I think our due diligence should be best served in the county, pushing back on the county aspects.
You're right.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you there.
Yes, sir.
But look at Kanawha County Commissioners down there. Hey, they're on the utility people's back every day.
let's go ahead and move to, hold on there one second, Junior, to the public hearing on E911, because I do want to stay stringent, but I'll give you another 3 minutes now. How about that? Then just so somebody else doesn't come in later and wants to take up 45 minutes, because I know you're going to be respectful for time.
Really, I
But again, on
think, bottom
council.
line on it is, I think if you all wanted to, you could come up with something here to finance this, 911 situation, whatever it is, a landline or whatever you're talking about. And this is, the way I understand, this is gonna throw another wrinkle in our school system. How many telephones does the school system in this county have?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I mean,
If you buck that up $1.50 or $1 or whatever this rate increase is, they ain't got enough money now to do what they're supposed to be done years ago. Hey,
absolutely.
it's not only gonna affect us seniors, it's gonna affect our school system and everybody else. So I think you could look at it and forget about it for a while.
We've looked at.
I wish it was that easy.
We've looked at every angle, and if you want to know where the cost is, it come right out of the state. Because all the stuff they make you do to build that 911 center cost millions of dollars. All the ridiculousness cost millions of dollars. Who needs the 911 system? The seniors. We need to have, you say, what are we doing for the seniors? We're doing this for the seniors and every other citizen of the county.
But how many of us is gonna use it?
I hope none of you, but don't you want it to be there when you do? Or if your wife gets sick or your
No.
grandkids get hurt, don't you want it there?
We've survived in this county, I've lived here 48 years, and we've got by so far with what we had.
One, a potential cost savings I think should be brought to our attention, everyone's attention, is that, had we not got the post office and the state was gonna mandate we build this 911 center regardless in 4 to 5 years, it would have probably been about a $9 million ticket.
And your-
We're getting by for 1/3 of the cost.
Your
of
phone
that-
rate would
of
have
the-
probably went up $5 or $6 a month.
Yeah, that's right.
So what we are doing may not seem like it to you, but if you were sitting here in the middle of these decisions, you'd have a different outlook.
Well, I might on some, and some I would not, I can tell you that. I mean, just like the FAR fee. I'm not against it or not for it, but I had some people tell me that they was misinformed when they was signing that petition, that they was signing a petition to get this FAR fee put on a ballot to vote on. And I had 3 reliable sources tell me that within the last month, and it all came from the same location.
I can't doubt what they're saying, but I mean, I can tell you, that was not the directive from the fire board or the commission.
I know it
Because,
wasn't because-
and the state code of that section is honestly poorly written at best. And the only way you can put it on a ballot is had 30% of the voting population write a petition against it. So I was never truly against putting it on the ballot, but we couldn't unless that threshold was met.
Well, I know back when it was brought up years ago, when Lyle Mill was sitting up there,
Mhm.
I took a petition around in our neighborhood and got names on it for the fire fee. But then it was swept under the rug for 3 or 4 years. And then it came back up the way it was handled the last time, which was iffy in my book.
Well, thank you for your time. Do we have anybody else for the public hearing on the 911 landline fee? If not, we'll take a recess.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Now we have the third reading of the proposed, we need to make or no, you did correct it. I'm sorry, I have an old version. Third reading of the proposed E911 landline fee ordinance and possible action. First off, can we have a motion to waive the reading and for the public's benefit again? It is on file at the commission office if anyone would like to get a copy of it, then we can discuss.
Make a motion, we waive the reading.
Motion's on the floor, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. Thank you. I do appreciate Mr. Samples coming, and I understand his concerns. I know that Homeland Director McGinnis did a search, and we were the lowest of the surrounding 7 to 8 counties. And it's not a pleasure by any means to raise any kind of fee, but I will continue my support of this simply for the fact that we do have to provide these services. I do have a grave concern, and we've got to talk about this going forward, but I do have a grave concern concerning ambulance coverage in this county. We do have large voids in it right now that I'm not comfortable with, and I know we're all concerned about, but in order to provide better for those services, I think that also ties into this proposed amended ordinance. I guess that's about all I have. If you will have any discussion yet. Is there any action or a motion to table this third reading, or the a motion to table or approve the proposed ordinance as it stands?
The update.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
That motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. And we'll sign this here in a minute, and it has to do with everything that was published and also the signing of the ordinance. Do you all have anybody else coming with you? Yeah, it's okay. If we want to go ahead and move on to the next appointment, we have Terry and Albert Rodeball with the Mountain State Giant Growers LLC, and this is concerning a funding request for the first West Virginia Giant Growers sanctioned whale.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to give you that. This is our budget. This can change. I just want to give you a rough draft of what it looks like for the moment. We did have our seed auction, which we raised $4,705. One seed went for $270. That seed came from England. There was only a couple, was there two of those seeds? And then we had some that went for $70. So we had, those were given to the organization. So we did raise $4,705. There was expenses in that, like postage, envelopes, that sort of thing. So, but we have some dues. We raised $225, and merchandise sales were $700. So we are looking at an expense for this year of $14,305. But we have of that. I told you the last time that we were looking around 15,000. Now we're looking around 20,000 for. I think that would be a good number for expenses and what we're looking at for the whole gamut of the festival, the whale. We have upped the prize monies just a little bit. That depends upon how much money we can raise, because we want to give the best dollars for the per pound for pumpkin and watermelon and fruit that'll be shown. We're anticipating several, we think we have at least 10 growers from West Virginia that will be there, and that's not counting out-of-state growers. Is there anything? And like I said, this budget, I think it's off just a tad bit on some things on here, but unforeseen postage, that kind of thing. So, but right now we're looking at a difference of around $14,305.
You applied for the city grant too.
I have not yet. I'm going to go back. I went over there and got the information, but I will. I'm planning on going over there again back when we get done here.
We're an LLC.
And that's right, we're an LLC right at the moment, so we can't get the grants, but I understand the mayor can give out some.
So you're not a nonprofit?
We are not a nonprofit at the moment.
Okay.
We are
Well, see, that
working
was,
towards that.
what's that?
We discussed it at our annual meeting, and everybody says, yeah, we need to do this.
Right.
But it was
the most expedient method of getting the organization up and running was to make it an LLC.
Right,
And
right,
then
right.
we transferred from an LLC to
To
a
a
nonprofit.
Right.
And we just haven't done it yet.
Because with that being said, we can't contribute until it's a nonprofit
You
either.
may have to partner with a nonprofit to do it. to get
Well,
the-
And
we're
that's where
partnered
we-
with the,
Come in with Craigsville Fall Festival.
Yeah.
This was gonna say, we probably should put money in the festival, then put it.
Well, the only thing for the commission's benefit is that, you know, should we proceed with this or a portion of this, what have you, I think we need to keep in mind all festivals,
I know, that's what.
whether now or later. I mean, you know what I'm saying, so. And I know they have their own struggles trying to get carnival licenses.
I have no idea what it entails going from an LLC to a nonprofit. How long of a process is that?
There's an application process through the IRS.
Secretary of State has that form on their site. I looked at it last night.
Pretty detailed.
Yes.
And you're going to probably need help with an accountant to do that.
Yes.
And that just depends, you know, I don't know, I can't give you a I know that there was one group that applied that took them up to 6 months. Part of that was because they weren't real diligent about what applied for.
I'll say this, this is all new to us, but I wanted to come before you all now because September will be here before you know it. And like I said, we are in conjunction with the Craigsville Fall Festival, but we are our own entity for expenses and that kind of thing. We didn't want to have that, have them with that payroll coming up with money for us. And we do plan on the 501c, so as soon as we can get that started, we will be more. We just met, what, 2 weeks ago?
And elected a president and secretary and vice president, and they're just getting their feet on the ground and starting, and the treasurer, so.
Does Doc Hinkle not have some sort of a Craigsville Business Development Group that's a nonprofit?
It used to be, but that's what they owned Indian Rocks at one time.
Yeah, and I think they shut it down when they gave it to the Williams,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
He may still have his nonprofit up, though, you may be able to.
It was a greater Craigsville Business Coalition.
Something like
That's
that.
it.
This may fit right into.
I'll check with you.
When do you need a hard answer by? I know today would be wonderful, but I mean, you know what?
I just wanted
what's-
really to update you all today.
Okay,
And
okay.
give you an idea, because.
Because with all these metrics, you know,
Right.
we might need to come up with a plan.
And when does the
Three-month
city,
partnership.
when does the city make their decision? Like your grant fund has to be,
February 28th.
that's what it is, but your deadline, right, February
Yes.
28th? And they make a decision after that.
I think it's in March.
Yeah, I think it's more.
I think it's in a month.
I thought
So,
that, I saw that, she gave me a paper, and I thought it said, have your information by February 28th, so it
Yeah.
needs to be March.
yeah, because I think they have you come present, so.
But I don't, we couldn't go that route because we're not in 501c on the grants.
That's right.
But
Now, the
we're-
Crazyville Fall Fest killed their half,
Or Docu's.
or the, right.
I'll check with you.
Yeah, I try. I mean, I'm pretty confident we'll help you. But we can't really say at what level yet. So, does your participants, do they pay to get to be in the show?
They do not.
They do not.
Because there are, well, out-of-state people will. Anybody that's not a member of the Mountain State Giant Growers Association, that's what the dues pay for your entry fee. Anybody else will have to pay an entry fee of $25 or something like that.
Are you guys gonna open this up to have, like, residents of the area as part of your?
Absolutely.
Anybody that wants to come.
Okay. I mean, and when I say that, it's like as part of your leadership team. 'Cause I went down through here like tables and chairs, lifting rings and straps, forklift, Doc's got a forklift. I mean, I think some of this stuff we could source out and cut the cost down some. And then I'll reach out to some of the folks that I have that like to sponsor things and get their name out there and start trying to hack this number down. I mean, and I think that'll help with what everybody needs to do.
Well, I don't mean to pick one. You're on the board of the office, weren't you? So maybe, yeah, if you all could work on that, that would help me anyways.
But could you rely on
Consider
your
it.
board to work with them, the money had to flow through?
Yes. Yeah, the new board.
Yes, and Paul and I on that as well.
Yeah, give you 3 board members here.
Okay, yeah.
We joined the Fall Festival Board because, well, she joined it because she's really civic minded. I joined it because I want to try to get this off the ground.
Right, I got you. Hey, but you're willing to volunteer, so you're good in that.
Well, we can give you our commitment, just not have one.
And I will get a time and date to come back, and give you a further update. I want to keep this in front of you also.
Sure. So we don't forget, because we're a group of men, we'll
So
listen.
now I just take that.
And don't get discouraged about the city grant, because there's a way, I'm sure there's a way to do that. If there's possibly a chance to get some money there, you know.
Yeah, I'm under the impression the mayor can give out money and not go through with the, not go with the
You
grant.
can, but I think it still has to be nonprofit.
We need to get on a nonprofit limit this. Yes,
I think,
And now's a bad time because it's tax season.
all right, well, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll be back in touch.
Okay. We have no further appointments until 10 a.m., so we will take a recess.
All right, go ahead.
Another Gary.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we now have with us here this morning Ms. Cassandra Lawson, the Senior Project Specialist with Region 4 Planning and Development Council. And first, we have the Richwood Hinkle Mountain Little Laurel Water Extension Project with a resolution number 8.
Okay, so I have for your consideration kind of a unique inquiry. Resolution number 8 for the Hinkle Mountain project was actually approved by the city at their November 17th meeting. It was submitted to the funding agency on November the 30th, and the funds have still not come through. They have not been wired to the city's bank account. The issue was kind of holidays. Some of the staff was sick, some of their staff was new, and I think this is their first time maybe processing construction invoices and that sort of thing. So we have received confirmation that it's been submitted to the auditor's office, but as of this morning, the payment was not pending. So these contractors have been awaiting this payment. Their billing was approved in November, but it was for work done in October. So it's really kind of putting them in a bad situation. Because you do have a $750,000 commitment to the project, what we would ask is if you would be agreeable to pay the amounts that are owed from the November resolution 8. And then when the funds come in from the funding agency, we'll have to work out the details. I don't know if we would hold those as funds on hand as the commission's contribution, come back to you and of course ask for your permission to use them, or if we would actually just cut a check back to you for depositing. So we kind of have to figure that out in our office, what the best way is to handle that. But we feel confident that we can work out a really good paper trail and make sure that everything's documented correctly. And so it's for contract 1, 2, and 3. Contract 1 is in the amount of $92,643.29. That's your Little Laurel construction contract. Contract 2 is for Tribute Consultants in the amount of $243,788.05. That is for the Hinkle Mountain Water Line Extension. Contract 3 in the amount of $124,467.57 for Mid-Atlantic Storage Systems. It's for the Hinkle Mountain storage tank. And so that totals $460,898.91 that these 5 folks are awaiting. And it's no fault of the city. I think the development office also had maybe like some new requests of the auditor's office. Just recently when they were submitting pay requests, they feel like they've got that resolved. We just submitted another pay request for this funding source
Well, we've got 6 months.
in late January.
What do you
we're the understanding it should be processed in due time, but if we see significant delays with it too, we may be back with a similar request until we can get their funds spent. After this is taken care of, the January request is taken care of, we have about $60,000 left in their funding pot. And then we won't be dealing with that funding source anymore. And all of our other funding agencies are paying, like in the normal 30 to 45 day time frame.
What was that total again?
Total of $160,898.91.
Save me some math.
Yeah,
That's out of the 692,886?
yes, that's correct. And what's the total amount again? I'm sorry, I want to get that clarified.
That is okay. Total amount is $460,898.91. And just as like a little bit of additional clarity, I've highlighted the invoices that we're talking about. But you'll see on the second page, there's also some engineering invoices. Those were paid from a separate funder, and those funds have already came through. So we're not really concerned with them at this time. And this has a copy of the resolution and just the face of each pay estimate.
Thank you.
And then I have a full packet with all of the supporting documentation. It's about 60 pages. So I just brought the consolidated version to pass around.
Appreciate it.
Trying to save trees.
There you go.
As you all review this, I'm okay with this request because it's well within the amount allotted already by the commission. After referring to Clerk Painter on this, and I absolutely want this to be understood as my position as well, just for the simplicity of it. Nothing against our friends at Region 4 or the city of Richwood, but once those funds are returned from the state, that those funds be resubmitted to the county and then submitted for again.
Yes,
Down the
absolutely.
road.
Absolutely. Yep. That is absolutely fine.
So that'd be my.
So we will come back to you with a request to use, you know, yeah. Yeah, so of your $750,000, there's $692,886.20 remaining.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I make a motion that we give are we giving it to the city of Richwood?
What we'll do is actually, I will ask you guys if you would just go ahead and cut the payments to the vendors directly. And then when the funds come in, we'll either cut a check back to the county. If you have like a way that you would like to handle it, that's fine. We can either cut a check back to the county, you can throw it back in the pot, or we can hold on to it as funds in hand. I'm thinking it may be better if we just
Yeah,
cut a
three
check
invoices
back to
here.
the county.
So ours is kind of
She's
last
asking if we
minute.
can write a check to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Or do you want to? However. You're, is that?
I think that may just be the best paper trail.
Line item checks.
we're almost becoming like a credit line.
Yes, yeah. I'm hoping that this is resolved with this January payment. But we'll see.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we pay vendors on contract 1, 2, and 3 from here directly in the amount of $460,898.91. And when the funding stream pays, will that go to you or to the city?
It will be deposited into their account, but we cut the checks for them for the project, so then we can cut that check back to them.
And it will be paid back to us.
I'd like to amend your motion if that's okay. I'd like a written agreement or statement from the city saying that they agree to this too before the checks are written. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. And then anything else? Okay, that motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Any questions or anything else?
The contractors are calling us pretty much every day. I think we can coordinate that written letter from the city today. When would be the soonest that the checks could be submitted to them? Because I think they'll ask you that.
I mean, prepare today and then just once we get the agreement.
Okay. That's it.
Unless they want to offer a really big discount. Right. Now.
Right,
Cancel
right
it,
now.
right?
We'll postpone the meeting for 10 minutes.
Cancel it.
Okay, so that motion on the floor, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those against, the motion does carry. Up next, we do have the update on the Birch River Rooting Club demolition.
Yeah, and so that's me kind of on a personal level as a member of the Birch River Ruins and Club. I just wanted to kind of give you an update. We took several months kind of vetting options for storage of the assets within the building because we did not want to have to sell those or have them be, trashed as part of the demolition. We had a lot of really good assets. We had like toilets and sinks and cabinetry and chairs and tables and all of that. And we finally secured a location to store that. One of our club members graciously offered up a storage building. And so we have moved pretty much the entirety of the contents out. Once the power's turned off, we do intend to go back in and take down a couple of light fixtures, save the breaker box. Really, we're trying to save everything that we can, but we do anticipate it to be ready for demo in about a month. So I just wanted to come to you and give you that update and see what process we need to follow once that starts. Just kind of some guidance on what the best way to go about that is. You guys provided 80%, we did 20. I don't know if we want to do that, 80-20 kind of all the way through. If I recall correctly, Commissioner Chapman, you had requested maybe 50% up front, 50% at completion or something like that. So just kind of wanted a refresher on how the commission would like to see payments distributed and that sort of thing.
You already have a contractor in place and everything.
Yeah.
You want us to pay the contractors directly, or you want to just put the money with you and then you handle it?
When you're 20,
That's really
20%, so we could do 30-20 the first payment, then we could do the second payment.
It's completed, we sign off.
So do 30-20, we'll use our full allocation, only use 30% of yours, and then the final allocation, we'll just request it of the remaining amount of the commission. Does that sound reasonable? That way you're kind of the
That'd be my
last dollar
That way you
in.
got your first money in.
Right.
Okay, and then would you like me to just come before you, kind of as we do with any other Region 4 project, present the invoice
Yeah,
for approval and that sort of thing?
if you find that acceptable from the root and close standpoint.
Yeah, we actually have a meeting next week.
Okay.
So we can discuss that then. And do we need to give you like a heads up, just like kind of an informal, hey, it's coming down tomorrow, just so you're aware?
Maybe, I mean, we've already approved our commitment and everything, so.
Okay.
Don't let us hold anything up, I guess is the only thing I would say. Yeah, all that stands.
How soon do you think it's gonna happen? Have you talked to the contractor?
Yeah, he didn't give like an indicated time when it would come down, because we were still a little bit in limbo. We still haven't actually had the power turned off and taken those last couple of things out, so it's kind of hard for him to say until we can give him, a definite, like, okay, we're ready, whenever you come down.
Once for you, once for me.
But hopefully within the next couple of months, before spring, is what we anticipate. Yeah.
Very good.
That's it. I did bring a letter. This is not on the agenda. This is a prior meeting follow-up. The sidewalk project that the commission offered to sponsor contingent $25,000. The Richwood sidewalk project, you offered to sponsor $25,000 if their additional DOH funding comes through. And we did say that very specifically. We please ask that you consider this a commitment from the Nicholas County Commission for a total amount not to exceed $25,000 contingent upon the receipt of the West Virginia DOH Technical Assistance Grant, or Transportation Alternatives Grant request.
Is that what?
So if you would like, I will take that with me and take care of that for you.
Yeah, I've got that signed for your aim. Got that ready this morning.
Awesome. And do you have any questions of me on other projects? Just
Where are we
give me an
at
update.
on Nettie Levacy's Ward Road improvement plan?
So that project is actually starting to make some movement. We are going to start holding monthly conference calls. I've included all three of you on those invites. So we're working with EPA directly out of Washington for the congressionally directed spending request. We do have to submit an application to them. I mean, they've committed the funding essentially, but they still have to have like their normal procedures in place before they can actually release the funds. So that requires a grants.gov registration. We'll have to work with the PSD to get them set up on that. But it didn't look like it would be a hard thing to pull off. And for congressionally directed spending requests, the state set aside non-federal matching funds. We submitted a request to the governor's office to utilize about $1 million for matching that CDSR. And we received a contingent approval, just that all of the other, funding agencies are on board and stuff like that. So it's making
So right now,
progress.
make sure I understand this clearly, this is a fully funded project.
It doesn't have all of its funding commitments.
Okay.
So it has like infrastructure council funds, DWTRF funds. They won't actually issue their binding commitments until the project's further along and has like all of its permitting and stuff like that. But essentially, there's a funding strategy for the entire project. There's not a shortfall. There is an option.
And so this is an upgrade, I'm assuming from the area of Panther Creek School, all the way through?
I think this addresses Ward Road,
Yes.
McCutcheon Lane, and there's another lane, and I can't remember the name of it. But it
Possibly Wyoming.
I just can't remember. But
No,
it
they're not
addresses.
going that far.
Well, and the problem really is on the Nettie side. But I know from Mayflower Lane, which is right past Panther Creek Elementary,
Okay.
it goes from a 6 to a 4-inch line. Then it goes back to a 6-inch, and they just add on an 8-inch.
So I'm
You've got some
not-
issues in that Nettie to Middle Ward Road section.
Okay, so I'm not familiar enough with like the actual areas, but I do know that that is the scope of the project, is to resize the lines appropriately and where there are, like booster pumping stations needed, those will be put in place and pretty much fix all of those pressure issues like you're talking about, connecting, smaller pipes to larger pipes to smaller pipes or whatever. I'm not an engineer, I do apologize.
I'm not either, and by no means do I pretend to be, so no, that's good, that's good.
But-
Well, and if that's the scope, then yeah, that would include that territory, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. And overall, that was a pretty significant project. I can't remember the total cost right off the top of my head, but I think it's great with $5 million.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me.
That'll open up the opportunity for hydrants.
Yes, it does include fire protection, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are hydrants already on the system, in this section and past. No, not in this section,
They will put them on forward.
on both sides of the,
I do remember the narrative saying that it would include adequate fire protection measures.
so there again, we're talking about our ISO ratings, so. Very good.
Okay.
Anything else?
How far along is the regular project?
The water project? So the Hinkle Mountain line, I just updated, project information this morning, I can't remember off the top of my head. Hinkle Mountain is well underway under construction, Little Laurel is well underway. I'm gonna just guess that they probably about like 50%. The tank that's required for the Hinkle Mountain area, the site has been graded and everything, but they won't actually be able to start doing the construction until spring when they can, form the concrete pad and that sort of thing. And then the water plant, I think some of the materials have been purchased, but they have really long leads on delivery, so not much has happened at the water plant yet.
Anything on the road?
We are waiting on the operation and maintenance agreement to be coordinated. That will kind of dictate how your ISP CityNet is responsible for operating the system and, what the roles of the commission are in that. And then Really, the only other thing is just the environmental, issuing the finding of no significant impact. We have everything we need to do that, we just need to get it in the paper.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you all. Have a great day.
See ya, be careful.
See ya. See you later.
Okay, so now we have with us Ms. Jonah Quinn, the Administrative Assistant for the Nicholas County Farmland Protection Program Board. This is concerning a approval of a resolution for the purchase of the Butler easement. So the floor is yours.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Roberts, I don't know you. I am Jonah Quinn. I served on the board for about 6 years and then left the board to become their administrative assistant. Just a little information that you all might not be aware of. Farmland in the United States is disappearing at a rate of 2 acres per minute. So in the time that I talked to you this morning, there's 20 acres of farmland that will disappear. In an hour's time, 120. So West Virginia has about 3.6 million acres that are registered in crop, pasture, or timberland. So it would only take about 3 years and a few months for all of that to disappear if it was just in West Virginia. So we find it very important to preserve the farmland. The Butler project is our 10th farm. We are up to 1,217 acres protected in Nicholas County now. So the resolution is for your all's approval for us to spend $128,050 for the easement of the Butler property. These easements, we are not buying the property. Some people get confused. We are not buying. We are placing an easement. The farmer still owns his land. He still controls it. But it will forever be farmland. Patty, you made a copy of the...
Yes.
Okay.
That's what Commissioner Chapman is reviewing. And let's see here. Who's the property owner?
It's
Oh, I
a-
see here, the list here in the first paragraph.
Yes.
Okay.
The 3 children of Claude Butler Sr.
4.
Well,
That's the wife she has.
Claude Butler.
Oh, okay, yes, I'm sorry.
Tammy
I see.
Hinkle and Carolyn Carper are the owners, and then Ruth, his wife, has a lifetime estate.
Yes. This is for a parcel of 93.75 acres.
Yes.
Yes. And also for the public's benefit, this is a collection on the purchase and sale of real estate through a transfer tax. Is it all of it or part of it?
It's a very small.
Yeah,
part.
a part of the transfer tax on any purchase or sale of property goes towards this program. State statute required, not a decision of this commission, not another fee that we have raised here this morning, but nonetheless,
So this will be fully funded out of that.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's been in place since 2004, I believe. The first farm went in 2008, and that was Jim Brown. And this farm is very close to Jim Brown's farm.
Who determines the value?
We do an appraisal, and the appraiser appraises it as if it was going to be sold commercial, and if it was going to be sold as farmland. And the difference is what we pay, because farmland does not bring the same price as commercial land.
Absolutely.
And since it will never, ever be sold as commercial, we're paying them for that difference.
There's no access issues to this,
There's no what?
like access issues you're gonna.
Right-of-way issues or anything like that?
Right-of-ways, they would have to come through the board. It can be done, but it's frowned upon.
Well, no, I guess, I'm sorry, I should have interjected because I think I took away from what Commissioner Roberts was asking. They have adequate access to the property. I mean, it's an active farm right now.
Yes, it
Correct,
is an
yeah.
active.
Right, so yeah, it's not like a
The
tractor
easement's more
timber.
of a restriction prohibiting the property to be used for anything other than farm.
If you're not familiar with where it is, you go beyond Kirkwood Winery, just a few hundred feet, and it's off to the left. Some very pretty land up there.
And this is based off an appraisal, because I've just seen some of these come through way more money, that's why.
We only pay 65% of the appraisal rate. So I think probably his appraisal came in about 2,800 per acre. I don't have it with me, but then we go 65% of that.
Which I mean, yeah,
So,
there you go. Too high. No, this is good. Sorry I missed the meeting last month, by the way. But, this was my new boards. I see no problem with this, and I would recommend approval of this resolution as presented here this morning.
you want a motion, did you?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Yes. Motion's on the floor, is there any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Does this have to be a working farm to be considered?
It does not have to be a working farm. We have a point system, where I do believe you get a few extra points if it is a working farm. Anyone in Nicholas County that has a farm and would like to apply, we take applications up until June 30th of each year. Then July or maybe August, we score them, and we have a score system where they receive points for their soil value, for how endangered they are to development, the resources they have on the farm. It's like a 4-page scoring system, and we use it every year.
Very good.
How much funds do you have left? With right now?
Right now, I think we are close to 300,000 in the bank.
After this, or?
Before this. So it will knock us down to 180 thereabouts.
So the property can be transferred later on, it's just.
It
what
can be
done with it.
willed, it can be deeded, it can be sold. It's just that the next owner is committed
Right.
to maintaining that farm.
Actually, that gets recorded in the county clerk's office.
Plus,
and
you're
it
gonna
carries on forward.
Yeah. Some deed restrictions, you can't build a certain size house in a certain development.
They all have a 2-acre envelope around their residence that they are not restricted.
Gotcha.
If they want to build a garage, they don't have to come ask
Right,
us.
or a barn or something.
If they want to make major changes in the agricultural section, we do like for them to come say, hey, we're going to do this, is it okay?
That's it.
And as long as it's agriculture, it's okay.
And of this 1,217 acres, how many farms are now protected? Do
This
you
is
have
our
a
10th
total?
one.
10, okay, that's right, you said that earlier, I'm sorry.
This is our 10th farm,
Very good.
and they are already looking at the 11th one. We will be back in a few months.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming in. How do
There
you
was
get
one
to your
other
copy?
issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if Patty put it on the agenda or not. Last time I was here, I asked about the seat in our bylaws that says that a regional development authority executive director sits on our board. It also says they are a resident of the county. which is kind of a conflict, and I don't know if they,
I did, Jen, and I responded to somebody, and I have Bobby looking for that email, but as I recall, that what Fayette County did, they appointed a county resident as that person's designee, and that allowed that person to vote. I think you can do that, except that I'm not sure they have a vote, and I'll follow up on that. In fact, I have Bobby looking for my response now.
okay,
But I think they have to be a resident to have a vote.
okay. But the regional development could appoint someone?
They can appoint someone, and I'll tell you what, when I was on the...
They can or the commission can?
I have to go back and look.
Okay.
Well, actually, what it is the director sets as a statutory member of the board. And typically, that director is not a resident of the county. The statute goes on to say members have to be a resident of the county. So what they were doing is appointing a designee, he was appointing a designee to attend the meetings, am I correct?
Yes.
And the question came up, can he vote? Well, in Fayette County, what they did is his designee was a Fayette County resident. So yes, that person could vote. And then here in Nicholas County, the individual was not a resident, that was the question.
So at this point, Chance Rezzo was the person in question. He has left the River Gorge Regional Development Authority, so it won't be him. And I don't know if they have somebody on their board who is a Nicholas County resident.
And I apologize, I'll find that email. I know, I remember responding to it.
Well, Commissioner Chapman is, but I think he's on both boards. He's on the board for NRGRD.
Okay. It could be a possibility.
I was basically just the director's designated that, service.
I think to make it all
More on that,
official,
right.
they would suggest somebody and then you, the county commission, would approve them.
That's what they,
And then, when are your meetings, in case somebody wants to? be
Third
curious?
Thursday of the month, unless there is an issue with getting an agenda or a forum, this one will be on February 15th. We have been meeting at the city building. They've very graciously given us space for free. So it's 6 p.m. is always the time. And you will get an email
Yes.
to remind you.
We had a park meeting last month or something that tied me up, but yeah. What's that? Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Patty will get you taken care of.
Alrighty.
Keep moving on here. Up next, we do have commissioners' comments. I usually come more prepared, but I do feel I just need to go ahead and say entitled this morning to speak for just a moment. I would just ask this county to please understand the role of the county commissioner. We can't always make the best decisions that some people think would be the best alternative or this, that, and the other. This commission is inundated with facts, figures, information on a daily basis. We probably receive over 30, 50 emails a day some days, trying to understand how our county runs compared to others. This is the second Republican majority of this commission in 90 years. I really can't see us being pro-tax. I really can't see us being pro-fee. But I want everybody to understand that this commission has to refer back to state code. As a county commissioner, you can't walk inside the courthouse without reading state code, how to walk up the steps. We are tasked with fire service. We are tasked with filling vacancies of terms of office. We are tasked with a lot of uncomfortable decisions. And one coming up soon is we're gonna have to figure out this ambulance situation. And it's probably not gonna be what a lot of people want us to be, but when we don't have adequate coverage in X area and X area and the other X area of our county, we have a constitutional responsibility that we must fulfill. And I just ask for the public's patience, understanding, and willingness to try and understand the position of this commission. And anytime you don't understand, I think that this is perhaps one of the best run commissions in my lifetime, so that's at least 26 years now. We're keeping costs low, as Commissioner Chapman mentioned many times this meeting. Some people don't understand the cost savings that we do by raising fees now rather than much more down the road. An example would be the 911 center. We saved this county over $6 million. This county does not have to spend, which I guarantee you, within the next 10 years, the state would require us to spend. And so again, I just ask for patience, understanding. If you have a concern, call one of us. Call one of us. My goodness, if this is not an accessible commission, I'd be afraid to see what one would be. Because, you know, I feel that we're very involved in our communities. Commissioner Roberts is probably the best example. Makes being Commissioner Chapman work a little harder every now and then, but we appreciate his addition to the commission and just ask for the people's understanding of what we're trying to do here. We're kind of like the patriarchs of the county. Sometimes you don't always like our decisions. We just hope you understand why we make them. So I guess that's all I've got. If anybody else has questions.
I hate to reiterate or expound, but I want to reiterate what Commissioner Cole said. You know, one of the things we're looking at is the long run, the long term. You know, short run decisions tend to bite, and we've seen many examples of that over the past, probably not 50 years of being around, is we've seen some short run decisions really come around and bite you on the backside in the long run. So we're trying to make sure that we look at things in the with regards to longevity, with regards to the whole, the impact you can have on a whole, not just serving a few. And I always say that, you know, if you're serving a few people, you might be doing something that's a little unethical or immoral. And I think that's one of the things we do is, you know, any sort of increase in fee or any is a last measure. It's because we've exhausted all other means. And I think that's an admirable thing. And, you know, it's unfortunate that we do have a rise in cost, as Mr. Cole stipulated, set forth by state statute in some applications, federal law, that we have to abide by, so our hands are tied. So, you know, like I say, just some understanding and patience. And if you have any questions, you're probably, if you're confused or angry with something or you don't feel that you're being addressed, it's probably because you don't have all the information or all the pieces of the puzzle to put together.
Hearing nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission? Today is February 1st, 2023, and it is 10:34 a.m. Motion's on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. We do stand adjourned.